This is a question many store owners ask themselves. The answer to the question isn't as straightforward as many would like it to be. If they are genuinely unhappy with the item, then it might be best to give them a refund and allow them to keep the product. You're probably only out a few bucks at the most, and it's a good way of keeping customer satisfaction levels high. If there was a defect in the merchandise, then yes, you do want them to send the item to you, give them a refund, and also throw in a few dollars to cover the shipping costs. You do need the product in your hands to make sure the factory isn't producing defects that will derail your success. Sometimes it's the small things that keep a business running smoothly. Tracking numbers are something that every order needs to have. Sure, you're going to have to dip a little into your profits for them, depending on the shipping method you use. However, the peace of mind that your customers experience is well worth it. Customers get antsy when they don't know where their item is. They keep hounding you and drain your customer service resources dry. Stop all of that from happening by giving out tracking numbers for every purchase. Your customers will be able to see where their package is on the internet. The tracking is pretty good these days, and your customers will be able to follow their package all over the world. How many of you think that insurance is a waste of money? You won't think that way when an expensive item arrives at your customer's doorstep in 1,000 pieces. You'll then feel pretty lucky that insurance exists. The problem with buying insurance is, most of the items you sell never use it. That's why people feel like insurance is a ripoff. It isn't a ripoff, and it's something you should spend a little money on. It takes a load off of your shoulders when you know that it doesn't matter what happens to the product while it's in transit. Accidents happen, and things break, and when they do, that's when the insurance becomes the most invaluable. Don't even think about not buying insurance or not providing tracking numbers to your customers. The price that you charge your customers for their purchases should already include both of these things. None of it is coming out of your pocket. Tack a little on to the purchase price and put your mind at ease. There's no good reason why anyone should risk the success of their store on being so cheap. You owe it to your customers to protect their purchases and your business at the same time. Any business that takes what they do seriously should see that insurance and tracking are two essential things that can't be avoided. Marketing is not as easy as you think it is. If you build it, they won't come. The best web designers and content creators in the world struggle with marketing. You can't think that just because you have a site that you're going to make money with it. The money will start to pour in once you learn the art of marketing. It's not something people learn overnight. It takes quite a bit of trial and error before you learn how to get someone to buy something. There are thousands of marketers who are vying for the same customers as you are. They are relentless in their pursuit of profits, and that's what makes selling online even more difficult. Long before you open your store, you should build up a list of what you think are your competition. You want to study every aspect of what they are doing to make their business a success. You want to read their descriptions, look at their product images, and analyze where their traffic is coming from. After you examine all three of these things, you'll have a firm idea of what it will take to make your store a success. Copying what works for others isn't a bad thing. It means that you're taking your business serious enough to see what works for others. You are never going to go into uncharted territory when it comes to anything e-commerce related. It's all been done before, and those who recognize this will understand they aren't paving a new road, but going down a path that's already been driven down. Split testing is a must if you want to squeeze out as much profit as possible. You'll be surprised by how modifying the smallest thing can have significant impact on your sales. What would it mean if you were able to increase your conversion rate by just a few percentage points? That could mean the difference between hundreds or thousands of dollars per month. Always seek out new ways to make your products and content enticing to get customers to put your product in their shopping cart. You've seen it a million times how a big online store slashes its prices, and people flock to them. It probably makes sense that you would follow in their footsteps if you're a new online retailer. Don't even think about going that route, as it will undoubtedly be your ruin. You can't possibly believe that it's a good idea to take away the lifeblood of your business. Profits are your lifeblood, and they are what make it possible for you to continue down the path of success. Without profits, all your hopes and dreams immediately become shattered. None of this is too dramatic, as it's the truth when it comes to longevity in a marketplace full of buzzards waiting to pick your business clean. The expenses never seem to go away when it comes to operating an online store. You have web hosting, design, content creation, and advertising. The cost of advertising alone is enough to drive people into the poorhouse. You can't ever be successful without an advertising budget. Sure, it's possible to go the free route and get traffic from Google and social media, but it still costs time. It's either time or money when it comes to the cost of getting customers to your store. If you can't afford either one of those things, then you're already setting yourself up for failure. That's what happens when you charge so much less for your products in hopes of driving sales. Amazon could do it because they're raking in billions of dollars per year. You can't, because you're only going to be doing thousands of dollars per year in sales. That's why you can't compete with these big companies on price. Instead of attempting to compete with them on price, one-up them in other areas where you can. Those areas would be selling only the best products, delivering an outstanding customer service experience, and focusing on reaching the exact customer through advertising. You'll never undercut the big boys when it comes to your prices. They will always be able to sell cheaper than you, and that's why you need to hit them in areas where they're vulnerable. Online marketers have a way of being sucked into using a computer all day long. It's not unheard of for those who work on a computer to not have a smartphone. You may be one of the people who choose a dumb phone, so you can get away from electronics while not at work. Whatever your situation is with electronics, you still need to visit your store using many different devices. Also, you want to visit your store in several different browsers. Visiting your store in Firefox and Chrome is a must. You might want to also check it out in Opera and Safari as well. If you're a Windows user, then you should seek out someone who owns a Mac. The same thing could be said if you have an Android phone. Your store shouldn't look different on an Android phone compared to an iPhone, though it's a good idea to check to make sure that everything looks good. At the very least, you want to visit your store using a computer and a smartphone. If you can also throw in a tablet and other devices, then even better. You're trying to see if there are any problems with the display and functionality of your site on different devices. Hopefully there isn't, but if there is, you'll be able to spot them right away. How do you know if your shopping cart works when a customer uses a smartphone? You know because you've tested it out. It's understandable that some people might not want a smartphone in today's busy world, but it's for the best that you own one. You can always stash it in the sock drawer when you're not using it. Connect it to your Wi-Fi to make sure everything with your store is running correctly. There's no other way of getting around the need to test your site to make sure it works properly. If you're buying advertising, a small problem with your store could result in losing big bucks. You might think that niche marketing only applies to blogs. Nothing could be further from the truth, and your store should be filled with niche products. The established stores can sell ordinary things at rock-bottom prices because they have the budget to compete by buying high volumes of advertising. You're not going to be able to do that, and trying to go toe-to-toe with the big boys is a mistake. The way you defeat them is by going the niche route. You sell products that are geared towards a very select few customers. These are people who are enthusiastic about the niche and are willing to pay top dollar for products they can't get elsewhere. It's possible to market a niche that you know nothing about. However, it's going to take you quite a bit of learning to be able to pull it off. It's not something that you're going to be able to do overnight. It's always best if you can promote a niche that you are already familiar with. You know the terminology that customers already use, and that will go a long way in convincing them to buy from your store. Someone familiar with a niche knows right away if they are being marketed to by someone clueless. If you come across as ignorant, no one is going to buy from you. If you're entirely new to the niche, then spend a few months getting to know the ins and outs of it. A reason why some people might not want to go the ultra niche route is that they want to fill their store full of many items. Don't forget that you're allowed to have an almost unlimited amount of stores. The number of stores that you're allowed to have depends on the platform that you're using, though there's nothing stopping you from having more than one store. Don't mix and match niche items for the sake of making it easier on your end. You'll confuse the customer, and they won't take you seriously. Try to find products that address a specific need or want of someone in your niche, and they are sure to be a hit. The problem with many online sellers is they think that there's no customer service required. They believe that since the entire process is automated, there's no need for things such as email and live chat. If you want to fail quickly, then avoid talking to potential customers at all costs. Some people need a little nudging before they're willing to buy. They want to know that you're a legitimate business. Don't be surprised if customers send you an email asking all kinds of stupid questions to see if you respond to them. They want to make sure that you're not a fly-by-night scam artist who's trying to make a fast buck. If you set up a store that is full of useful products, customers will make return purchases. It's vital to the growth of your business that people buy more than once from you. A great way to ensure that they do is by providing customer service that's above anything they could have ever dreamed of. It's not as difficult as it sounds. The customer emails you a question, and you respond to it promptly. An autoresponder is your best friend in these situations, as it will let the customer know that you received the email. It's probably best to respond to emails in 24 hours or less, unless it's a weekend or a holiday. Even under those circumstances, it's best to answer the emails as quickly as possible. If you're new to running an online business, then you probably don't have the money to outsource your customer service just yet. If you have the money, then there's nothing wrong with outsourcing all of your customer service needs. You can do that by hiring virtual assistants or by going through a company that provides customer service support for you. Since most of these people live in developing nations, the cost of hiring them won't be too expensive. If you go the route of hiring virtual assistants, try to give them a bonus occasionally to provide them with an incentive to continue to work hard. A few dollars is all it takes, and they will be grateful and work harder to satisfy your customers. When you're in the developmental stages of creating an online store, you should compile a list of your competitors. This is as easy as searching Google and finding similar stores in your niche. You must monitor those stores to see what they're doing to be successful. That means down the line, paid tools will become necessary to see everything that they're doing. You want to pay attention to their backlinks, to their social accounts, and where they're buying advertising. It's also crucial that you can monitor each ad they're running to see what works best for them. All of these things can be monitored by using a variety of paid services that will allow you to keep a close watch on the activities of your competition.